All right. Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. Is yours truly, Amar Amari. I am the CEO of Synergetic Network Group LLC, a Kevlar Lifestyle and Tribal Unity Organization. And I thank you for tuning in for S&G Spotlight on tonight. As you know, we highlight businesses within the community so that way we can be of some support to our brothers and sisters and help them to generate wealth to take care of themselves and their family. We believe in business-based wealth around here. So we got on this evening Dr. Katina on this evening. How you doing, good sister?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be with you all to share this important information. It's very important that we're aware of our health. And so I'm here to help you all become educated on some things that are important to you when it comes to preventative care.
Wonderful, good sister. So on this evening, we would like for you to take the platform on this evening and share with us what do you believe is the vital things that we need to do in order for us to sustain and or avoid not having good health.
All right. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Katina. I'm a family nurse practitioner, author, health educator. I'm the founder of the Know Your Health Status campaign, also the founder and CEO of my nonprofit organization, All About Healthy Living Foundation. I also throw health parties as well within the community, and I travel as well. So I'm excited to be here. A lot of my followers know I go live periodically, and I'm glad to be here with your show so that I can give this information to your followers as well. But it's important that we know our health status. I know we hear a lot as far as know your HIV status, but knowing your health status is very important. And what I always preach to a lot of my people are, the importance of the big three, BCB. So if you follow me on Facebook or IG, I'm live on IG, by the way. Hi, IG. But if you follow me, you know that I always preach about the importance of BCB, knowing the big three, which is blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. If you don't know those numbers, you need to be aware of those numbers. You need to know your health status, because as far as blood pressure, if your blood pressure is not controlled, if it's not stable, it definitely can cause a heart attack. It can cause a stroke. It can cause an aneurysm, kidney failure. That's how some persons are on dialysis, and so much more. So it's so important that we know our blood pressure number. The normal blood pressure definitely should be less. They've changed the guidelines lately. It used to be 120 over 80, used to be the normal blood pressure or less. But now they're saying if your blood pressure is 120 over 80, then that's actually pre-hypertension. However, we don't worry about that. When my patients come in and their blood pressure is elevated, usually in the 140s over 90s, that's when we have to implement some changes. You watch your caffeine intake, you watch your sodium intake, you exercise, partake in weight loss as well. So that's so important when it comes to managing high blood pressure. If you do have hypertension, people, it's important that you take your medications in the meantime to protect yourself. And I always tell patients, they ask me, a common question is, do I have to be on this medicine for the rest of my life? If it's not hereditary, because remember, when it comes to high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol, it can be hereditary. So if it's not related to genetics, yes, you can come off of it through eating a healthy diet, watching your diet, losing weight, getting sleep, staying less stressed. All right, all of those things. So those are important when it comes to managing blood pressure. The second one, which is, all right, so we have blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. The second one is cholesterol. Cholesterol, there are three components to cholesterol. You have your LDL, which is your bad cholesterol. You have your triglycerides, and LDL, which is the healthy cholesterol. That's your good cholesterol. And that should actually be high. Now, you have to be careful with the triglycerides. The triglycerides are the part of the cholesterol that actually clogs the arteries of the heart. Very, very important to avoid eating foods that are high in sweets. So I always tell patients if they have high triglycerides, no sweets, no red meats, and no alcohol. You got it, because all of that turns into sugar, and that clogs the arteries of the heart, which eventually may turn into plaque, thus giving you a heart attack. So you have to know your cholesterol numbers, because you can prevent having heart disease and a heart attack if you are on top of your health before it gets really, really bad. And if you do have high triglycerides because of, there we go, the genetics, then omega-3 fish oil is an amazing way. It's a natural way to help lower the triglycerides. Now, the third one is the blood sugar. That's, diabetes. Sometimes some patients, they're diagnosed with pre-diabetes. That's when you have to make those diet changes. When you come in, you get your blood work done, we have to evaluate you for those three numbers, the big three, BCB, blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. Diabetes affects the entire body. Your vessels in your bodies, your eyes, your hearts, your nerve endings. That's why some persons have increased urination. They can go blind. So knowing your blood sugar number is very important as well. So those are some things that I really, next time you go and you go to get your physical, if you haven't gotten your physical within the year, you need to go. But if you haven't gotten your physical, those are three main things that you definitely need to get checked. And you need to know those numbers, because if you don't know those numbers, you'd have nothing to compare to as far as next time you go to get your physical done again. So preventative care is key. It's so important, ladies and gentlemen, to finally go in, know your health status.
Thank you. That's absolutely phenomenal. So, in your time, in your profession, what is some major areas that you feel like people totally neglect, or they wait to the last moment for them to try to take care of, that is critical to their health?
So when it comes to preventative care, it's important to adhere to your screenings. Screenings are so important. Don't just go to the doctor or your healthcare provider, your nurse practitioner like me. Don't just go when you're not feeling well, all right? You go for preventative care. So number one, you need to make sure once a year you go for your physical exam. Number two, ladies, your pap smears. All right, you need to get that done. The pap smear guidelines have changed. However, you go according to your gynecologist. Some people are still going once a year. Some persons are going every 2 years. It depends on the recommendations from your gynecologist. So that's number two. Number three, make sure that you definitely have your colonoscopy. If you're 50 and over, make sure you go for that colonoscopy. That checks for colon cancer. All right. If you have family history of colon cancer, then you want to go at age 45 or 40. So you want to go a little earlier if you do have immediate family history, like of your mom, your dad, or your siblings. And then another thing, your mammogram. Ladies, you should get your baseline screening between the ages of 35 and 39. You get your baseline screening mammogram. And then age 40 is when you go once a year. All right. You go once a year for your mammogram. And that checks for breast cancer. Now, if they see some abnormalities, they may do an ultrasound. But some people saying, oh, I don't want to get my mammogram done. If that's the case, then you get your thermogram done, and that just checks for inflammation in the breast. So that's another option. But just make sure that you get your screenings. So I mentioned the pap smear, mammogram, your physical exam, and men, you make sure you get your prostate exams done. All right. That's important. Or you get your prostate levels done through your blood. So they may not do the exam, but make sure your healthcare provider is drawing your PSA through your blood. Also, your eye exam, that's important to get. All right. So those are all some screenings that are important that we should partake in when it comes to preventative care. Because to answer your question, Amar, it definitely affects a lot of us because we're not coming to the doctors to know our health status. We're coming just when something is wrong, and that's not going to work. Unfortunately, when patients come in and I check their blood work, I have to put them on diabetes, cholesterol medications, and high blood pressure. But guess what? If you had come that year before, we could have saw your blood sugar creeping up, and we could have implemented some measures that would have helped prevented you from going into full-blown diabetes. So preventative care is key.
You're absolutely right. I believe a lot of men run away from the prostate because they don't want the finger there.
And so that's why I mentioned that there is a blood test. It's called the PSA. There is a blood test that can be done, that if that's elevated, then you'll see the urologist, and then he'll have to go and do the digital rectal exam is what we call it. But before that, we can just do the baseline screening. So that's perfectly fine with the blood test. So men, don't be scared. There's a blood test out there.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate you sharing that with us, Doctor. Now, my question is, how often should we do these things?
That's a great question. Now, on if you follow me on social media, and I see a couple of my followers here joining us. Hi, Loisy. Glad you can chime in. I actually do their show from time to time as well. But it's important that you peek in like once a year if you have no health problems. So get your physical exam once a year. And your eye exam once a year. Your pap smear should be done in accordance to your gynecologist. Colonoscopy should be done every 10 years. If they find something wrong, it'll be done every 5 years. Your mammogram should be done once a year, unless, again, recommended differently by the gynecologist. I have a Blood Pressure Tuesday campaign going on. So every Tuesday, I challenge my followers to check their blood pressure. And I've actually saved a couple lives by doing that, because that prompted them to go to the pharmacy and actually check their blood pressure. And unfortunately, there were quite a few people whose blood pressure was actually elevated. And when it was elevated, that prompted them to go to the hospital, actually, because it was really elevated within that stroke range. And they got help. They possibly saved their life because they actually checked their blood pressure, and they went to the ER because of the high number that they had. So, just peek in periodically and check your blood pressure. You don't have to do it every Tuesday, but just like once a month, just go to any CVS, Walgreens, Publix, and just check your pressure, just so you'll know. Because, when it comes to hypertension, it's a silent killer. You a lot of times you don't have symptoms. Now, some people may get vague symptoms, like they may feel foggy, they may feel like cloudy, inability to concentrate. They may feel like, just confused. Some people get headaches, like headache in the back of the head. But again, not everyone gets signs and symptoms. So it's just all important. It's important to know your numbers. So I challenge you all after this to go check your blood pressure, go get your physical if you haven't had one. And a couple things I want to discuss with you all as well is just some things that'll help manage when it comes to the big three, BCB, blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. Number one, eat healthy. All right. I know you hear that a lot, but eat healthy. That's so important. Don't skip your meals. Avoid a diet that's high in sugar. All right. That's important, especially for my females who get recurrent like vaginal infections, because the sugar feeds the yeast All right. The yeast loves heat and moisture. So you're feeding it when you have a diet high in sugar. So watch that. That's very important. So eat healthy, greens, your fruits, just make it a colorful plate. All right. So, and don't skip your meals. A lot of people, they skip their meals and they forget that that actually slows down the metabolism. And when that slows down the metabolism, you gain the weight and you're not going to lose the weight. So a lot of my patients come in and they complain of the inability to lose weight, but that's one of the problems that you may have. Also, get sleep. A lot of my entrepreneurs, a lot of my leaders, bosses, executives, whatever, you don't get your sleep. You have to get your sleep. You wonder why you can't concentrate. You wonder why you're feeling tired, low energy. It's because you haven't got your sleep. You have to get at least 6 to 7 hours, 6 or more of hours of sleep. So that's important. So get your sleep. I promise you, you'll feel a lot better. Lack of sleep can also cause low libido, which is your sex drive. It increases your stress level as well. It causes weight gain. It makes you feel draggy. It really impacts. And then also a lot of people, they actually feel depressed. Depression can be evident if you don't get your sleep. So please, ladies and gentlemen, work on that. So remember, number 1, eat healthy. Don't skip your meals and colorful plate. Thank you, Lisa. Number 2, get your sleep at least 6 to 8 hours. All right. Number 3, exercise. Get some type of physical activity on board, ladies and gentlemen. Now, a lot of times my patients, they have arthritis. All right. And they're like, oh, I can't work out because I'm always in pain because of the arthritis. Osteoarthritis is inflammation. Okay. Guess what the treatment is for the inflammation? Activity. You have to move, ladies and gentlemen. The lack of activity is more in the joints. So it's so important to stay active. Do, high impact. You can do swimming. You can also, go bike riding. Something yoga. Pilates is amazing. It's an amazing low impact exercise. So you don't always have to do anything that's high impact. If you love to dance like me, take a Zumba class or take an aerobics class. So it's just all about doing something you love. Also, if you're a walker, challenge yourself. Don't get used to that comfortable walk that you always have. You have to do your interval training. So it's important for you to challenge yourself and walk fast when you're walking. Increase that heart rate. Sweat. Don't just casually walk. But also, just so you know, when it comes to walking and running. Now, the research shows that the cardiovascular risk is actually the same between walking and running. However, you do lose weight faster when it comes to running, but it's really impactful on the joints, on your knees. A lot of my runners, they have torn meniscus, they've had knee surgeries. So really, I want you to just, get into an activity that you love and enjoy so that you can actually be comfortable and you will be consistent and dedicated at doing that. So getting your sleep, exercise, eating healthy, and also have me time. All right. Me time is so important. Do something that you love. That helps you de-stress. So when I run a lot of my health parties, I always, challenge the ladies or the men or whomever my audience is. I always challenge them to do something for them, even if it's not once a week, but every other week. go to the movies by themselves, something where they are taking care of them. So I challenge you all to do the same thing as well. Take time out for you, even if it's just listening to music, dancing around in the rooms, but just do something for you. So those are some principles that I preach. I really recommend those. And if you adhere to those, a lot of times you'll live a great, healthy life.
Phenomenal content, Doctor. Phenomenal content. I want to put something on the table for you. I hear a lot of debating about non-GMO products. Some people say it's the same as the other food. So go ahead and eat it because it's all right. It's the same as other food. So if you would be so kind to share with us, why is it imperative for us to move towards non-GMO products? And also, if you would touch bases on the vegan and vegetarian diet, what's your viewpoint on those topics?
So when it comes to your eating culture, your eating lifestyle, if you're a vegetarian, a vegan or not, everything is in moderation, because I can tell you some pros and cons of becoming a vegan and a vegetarian. And then, of course, the pros and cons of, the opposite. So a lot of, because when it comes to, just for example, when it comes to fibroids, in a lot of women, the research, there's research out there that may suggest, it's coming from the relaxers, it's coming from the foods that, you're eating. However, I have a lot of vegans and vegetarians that don't eat meat, and they have fibroids. So, that sometimes we have to just accept as well that, it's genetics play a role in it as well. Now, at this, with the world has changed. Just think about when you were growing up. The chicken was regular chicken. It wasn't a big drumstick. So the food has actually changed nowadays, and they're pumping it up with antibiotics, a lot of chemicals. So the food, unfortunately, is genetically modified. So going healthier, eating healthier, and is actually better for the body. But for those who, just eat regular food, just remember moderation. Portion control is key. Don't over anything. But of course, the GM is always, the GMO, the non-GMO better option.
I'm telling you, they loving you out here, Doc. They are loving you out here. Sister Lisa Pageant said, thank you, Dr. K, genetics. And I'm glad you touched on that, doctor, because I have heard of certain individuals that they could not do the vegan diet because they were required to have some type of fish or some type of protein via chicken or what have you. So is that really in the same arena as you were talking about?
Well, yeah, and that's true. It's always, of course, the body can eventually adapt to the diet, but it depends on the person's health condition. If the person is severely anemic and they suffer from low iron, yes, there's some supplements out there that's vegan or vegetarian. I don't know of any vegan supplements, but some vegetarian supplements that are out there that can help increase the iron levels. But you really, really have to get it through your diet. And sometimes that's a little slower process. So in the meantime, that person's blood is totally dropping. So they need something that's going to help increase their iron levels quickly, because if not, then they'll need a blood transfusion, and that becomes a very serious condition. They can actually die because they don't have enough blood in their body. So of course, being vegan, vegetarian is a choice. It's a great choice. It's not a bad choice at all. However, I think that your body has to be in a good, fair condition before you kind of make that change, because you can actually make things worse for yourself. So always go get that physical done. Know your blood numbers. Make sure is okay, and then you go. But again, the body adapts. The body will adapt to it. You may have to eat more vegetables that's higher in protein, your greens, your beans. You have your plant-based protein powder that's out there. So there are a lot of things that's out there for those who do definitely want to go vegan or vegetarian. And it works really, really well. But again, I just want you to make sure that your health is stable enough to make that transition, because the body goes into shock. Your body actually changes. So that's important, that your stability.
Thank you so much for those phenomenal answers. And we thank you so much for coming on to SNG Spotlight family. Did she not do a wonderful job? If you out there, give her some hearts, give her some lovers, give her some likes. But not only that, go to her page. Ensure that you visit our sister's website. It is there on the header, and we would greatly appreciate if you would show her support. Go to her page if you'd be so kind. Share her content. She has some phenomenal content. She's doing great things. She's doing a lot of great work within the community. As you can see, she's taking out her time to invest. She gives back. This definitely is a queen that's making moves in the community. Also, Dr. K, I see that you participate in an aerobic group and what have you. So would you like to share that with the audience, where you go and get your come on, sweat it out, work it out type thing?
Well, yes, I actually teach step aerobics. Right now, I'm in the process of finding a new spot to hold my aerobics class in at this time. So it's on hold right now, but I'll let you guys know when it's up and running. But I love step aerobics. It's fun. We dance in there. We have fun, but we're exercising as well. We're getting that heart going, the sweat dripping, and you feel great. You feel energized. And some of the things that I talked about today, I really want you all to implement that in your lives. Know your health status, the big 3, BCB, get your sleep. All right. I didn't talk about water intake. That's so important. Water helps with constipation. For those of you all who don't have a bowel, a lot of people, when I do trivia on my page.
That's why they be on there struggling. They be on there struggling.
When I do trivias on my page, I ask, how many times should you have a bowel movement? Should you have one once a day, every other day? People say once a day, but we're really supposed to have a bowel move after every meal. Yes, that's how we're supposed to go. Just like our pets, our animals. Every time they eat, you're supposed to go. That's a healthy intestinal system. So drink that water. It's good for your skin. It's good for your kidneys. If you notice that your urine is yellow, dark yellow, and it burns a little bit, and you don't take any supplements, increase that water intake. You should be drinking a gallon a day, or half your weight in ounces. So drink that water. Drink up. Challenge yourselves. Hi, Alexis. That's my
girl. You definitely hit on that, because people say, "Oh, I'm so thirsty," and they think that soda is going to do the job. And they need some water. They really do. And brothers and sisters, get you some water with some electrolytes in it as well, and make sure you get that spring water.
That's right. There you go. That's or it's the alkaline water, right? A lot of
Hey, what? Let's touch on that. Being that you touched on that, let's touch on the pH that they should go for, Doc.
Honestly, I forgot. I'm not really.
It's okay. It's anything that's a 7 or higher, family. Anything that's a
Okay.
7 or higher pH, get that. And also be careful with all those dairy products because like doctor said, you will become constipated. Matter of fact, doc, talk to us about uh some foods that someone, if they possibly take too much of a particular food, that will cause them to be constipated.
So like a diet. Okay, before I get into that, you know that you've eaten something bad. I don't know if you've actually, well, you guys probably, but if you've been around a vegetarian or a vegan and you've actually gone into the bathroom after they have had a bowel movement, they won't have an odor, to their stool, right? Usually not. So I tell people, you know that you have eaten something bad depending on the stench of your stool. So when you just think about it, when you ate something bad or you have the bubble guts, your stool stinks, right? It really stinks. It has a foul odor. However, when you're eating healthier, it won't smell as bad. So, what was your question again? I'm sorry. I just wanted to give that tidbit.
No,
Is that
actually, no. You actually touched on the doctor. You really did. You said you
Yeah,
know
so
that they
I'm
ate something
sorry.
bad
Yes.
as a kid,
So that's right.
and also
The
some
diet
foods
that's
that
high
were
in sugar. Yeah, the
okay.
diet that's high in sugar you want to avoid. And then dairy. He's so right
Wait a
about
minute
the
now, no
dairy.
sugar. What can they supplement for the sugar? You know.
Well, you have the stevia. Stevia is okay, or you can go even more natural. Do your honey, your blueberries. You do your fruits, your natural fruits. Add those instead of adding sugar to it. And then and again, it's moderation is key. So it's not like you can't use any sugar, but you just want to avoid that diet that's high in sugar, meaning stay away from a lot of your sodas. Stay away from those snack cakes.
Oh, oh. See, they're gonna get mad at us now. They may leave us. No soda, no snack cakes, no Debbie snack.
Exactly. So, you have to really watch that. And then that's so true about the dairy products. It causes a lot of inflammation throughout the body. So I challenge those who do have arthritis, who have autoimmune disorders, change to more of a plant-based diet. And that really helps them out a lot. When they change to that plant-based diet, they won't have so much of the inflammation going on in the body. Probiotics is good for the intestinal system. And just decrease that those dairy products, because it really impacts the intestinal system. It will clog you up, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely phenomenal. We thank everybody for tuning in and listening to the doctor on this evening. She shared some wonderful life tips with us on today. And I would like to say life-saving tips because what the doctor said, family, I want to be a witness to what the doctor talked about on this evening. I personally almost lost my life because I wasn't eating right. In fact, I was in my late 30s. And because I had changed my diet to a vegan diet, it literally helped save my life. In fact, it took away somewhat of my mood swings. You talk to my wife, I think she'll tell you she don't know if that did anything on that part. But it did, family. It actually saved my life. In fact, I even started sleeping better. So, family, this is one reason why I'm pushing this. It's not for fame, it's not for popularity. We, the doctor and I, we really trying to help save lives. And all jokes aside, when I changed my diet, it literally helped save my life. And
I mean,
I want
diet
you to,
is so important. I'm glad you brought that up, Amar,
it
because
is.
diet is so important. I have so many patients that come off of diabetes medication, cholesterol medicines, because they made that healthy lifestyle diet change and they change their life. What we ingest really affects our body. And I always tell people, eat to refuel and not to get full. Always remember that. Eat to refuel, but not to get full. After you eat, If you're all sluggish and tired and ready to get in the bed, that means you probably didn't indulge in a healthy meal.
I'm glad you said that one. In fact, make sure too, family, you're monitoring what time you eat prior to you going to sleep. That's
Yeah.
another thing as well. Would you care to expound on that, Doc?
Yes, that definitely can affect us as well, especially when it comes to weight loss. That food sits on the body, and it stores it. It doesn't burn it, it stores it. And you just gain the weight. Fat builds from that. Also, as far as the intestinal system, it actually increases the acid. So you may get heartburn, you may get nausea, you may feel bloated the next day, you may feel full faster, and constipation can ensue as well. So that's why it's so important not to eat. At least you are supposed to eat like 2 hours or greater before bedtime. Don't eat and lay down, y'all.
Well, there you have it. It looks like no late night snacks. You gotta monitor before you go to sleep. I tell you that, family. Again, we thank you so much for tuning in to listen to Dr. Katina Kennedy. Do you have any closing remarks before we let you go?
No, I've pretty much said it all. You guys follow me on IG, Instagram, Dr. Katina _ Dr. K. I post a lot of my health videos. If you, I've over the years on YouTube, I've posted so many videos. So if you want to check out my YouTube video, my YouTube page, and go through my list of videos, feel free to do that, because it's a video that's there that you may need that information. So go to my YouTube page. It's Dr. Katina, DrKatina. And then, of course, my fan page, Dr. Katina, because that's where I post a lot of my health and fitness tips, ladies and gentlemen. So don't miss out. Visit my website as well, drkatina.com. I hold master classes on healthy vaginas. So for those who have issues with pH balance and so forth, stay tuned for my master class. I have one that's online if you want to go and check it out as well. But I also throw health parties. So I'm excited. I'm also an author of a book called Let's Talk Sex and STDs, a guide to prepare the parents for the talk. And the second edition is the student edition. So I have quite a few things if you want to take a look at my website, and make sure you follow me to stay tuned. My passion is this. I love health education. I love health awareness. And it's all about you. It's all about educating you all to live a better health, high quality health, mentally and physically. So make that change, live right, live healthy, so that you can feel right and you can mentally be able to carry out your passion and your purpose in life.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much again, Dr. Katina, for my queen, Amani, Mari, and I. Synergetic Network Group LLC, we thank you so much for you coming on this platform and being such a valuable tool to help save lives on today. We salute you, Queen, for doing such a great work. And if you would, inbox me your information. We'd like to get that certificate to you that you and we had discussed for the great work that you are doing within the community. You need to be recognized for what you're doing, my sister. Let another man's mouth praise you. Let another man's mouth praise you. So we give thanks for you. We salute you. And you have a blessed evening. Thank you for tuning in. Again, family, Dr. Katina Kennedy, show her some love. Be blessed. Enjoy your evening. And remember, we don't have bad days around here. We just had some challenging things happen throughout our good day. Good night.
Yeah.